For decades, you have been misled about what it truly takes to remain fit and functional as you age. Every doctor, fitness magazine, and well-meaning friend has repeated the same mantra: just walk more to stay healthy. They tell you that reaching 10,000 steps a day is the ultimate goal for longevity, but the secret the fitness industry often fails to reveal is that walking is a maintenance activity, not a constructive one. While it keeps the heart beating and improves general circulation, it does almost nothing to stop the structural collapse of the musculoskeletal system. Walking is essentially a controlled fall that uses momentum and gravity to carry the body forward without requiring significant muscular engagement. While this is great for cardiovascular health, it does not provide the mechanical overload necessary to signal the body to retain calcium in the bones or to synthesize new muscle fibers. Without a direct challenge against resistance, bones gradually become brittle and muscles begin to deteriorate under the weight of chronic inactivity, regardless of how many miles you cover each day. This happens because the human body is an extremely efficient machine that tends to eliminate anything that isn't being used intensely. If you don't ask your muscles to lift weights or overcome resistance, the brain interprets that muscle mass as a useless energetic cost and begins to dismantle it. In evolutionary terms, maintaining unused muscle is a waste of precious resources, and without the stimulus of strength, the body eventually surrenders to gravity. Muscular loss associated with aging, scientifically known as sarcopenia, is a silent thief of independence that accelerates exponentially after age 60. Muscles should be viewed as a sort of biological pension to rely on for decades to come, but if you only walk, you are spending that pension without ever making a deposit to replenish it. Numerous clinical studies show that adults who perform specific resistance exercises show improvements in functional strength that are significantly superior to those who focus exclusively on aerobic activity. This difference is not just statistical, it represents the real-world ability to lift grandchildren, carry heavy groceries without strain, or stand up from a low chair without needing external help. To build or even just preserve muscle tissue, you must create metabolic stress and mechanical tension. These are the chemical signals that tell your DNA to activate cellular repair processes, strengthening not only muscles but also tendons and ligaments, which become less prone to inflammation and injury. Furthermore, denser muscle mass acts as an active endocrine organ, improving insulin sensitivity and helping to regulate blood sugar levels, drastically reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Beyond that, muscular strength is directly correlated with immune system health, as muscle proteins serve as a reservoir of amino acids for antibody production in case of illness. The first essential movement concerns the calves, often referred to by doctors as the second heart of the human body. The muscles of the lower leg are responsible for pushing deoxygenated blood upward, working against the force of gravity to return it to the lungs through a complex system of venous valves. When the calves are weak, blood tends to pool in the extremities, leading to that annoying feeling of heavy legs and chronic swelling. To perform this exercise correctly from a seated position, sit on the edge of a sturdy chair while keeping the spine well aligned, avoiding leaning against the backrest to engage the stabilizing muscles of the core and pelvis. By lifting the heels as high as possible, you activate the soleus muscle, squeezing the deep veins like a sponge and instantly improving circulatory efficiency, reducing ankle swelling and the risk of varicose veins. It is vital to maniacally control the descent, lowering the heels slowly over about 5 seconds instead of letting them drop. This eccentric phase of the movement creates the controlled microtears necessary for growth and stimulates the release of myokines, natural drug-like proteins that circulate in the blood and reduce systemic inflammation, even protecting the brain from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Strengthening the calves also improves static balance, as these muscles make constant microcorrections when we are standing to prevent the body from swaying dangerously. Next, focus on the quadriceps, which are the primary shock absorbers for the knees and the main motors for every vertical or horizontal movement. Seated leg extensions are specifically designed to counteract the deterioration of the thigh muscles, a process that happens at twice the rate in seniors compared to young adults if not actively countered. When these muscles are weak, every step dumps the body's weight directly onto the cartilage and bony structures of the knee, causing chronic pain, inflammation, and premature wear that often leads to debilitating arthritis or the need for joint replacements. By extending the leg slowly until it is perfectly straight and maintaining maximum contraction for 3 or 4 seconds, you stabilize the patella and create a protective shield around the joint. During the contraction, try to imagine crushing an object under the back of the knee to increase the intensity of the work. The resulting burning sensation should not be feared, as it is a positive biological signal. It indicates the accumulation of lactic acid, which stimulates the secretion of growth hormones and tissue repair factors that rejuvenate cells from within. The stronger your quadriceps, the less perceived effort you will feel during daily activities like climbing stairs or getting off a bus, making these actions no longer a test of endurance but a simple, fluid habit. Another fundamental pillar of prevention is the seated knee lift, useful for training the hip flexors, a muscle group that connects the lower spine to the femur. When these muscles weaken, the ability to properly lift the foot during a step is lost, leading to a shuffling gait that drastically increases the risk of tripping over carpets, small bumps, or uneven sidewalks. Performing a seated march with a straight torso forces the deep abdominal muscles to stabilize the body and teaches the motor cortex to prioritize the neuronal command to lift the foot. This exercise is not just physical, it is a recalibration of the nervous system. Lowering the leg silently, without making any noise upon contact with the floor, trains deceleration capacity and proprioceptive control. This skill is what makes the difference between a small loss of balance that is resolved with a quick recovery step and a catastrophic fall with permanent health consequences. Learning to control the hip also means reducing harmful pressure on the lumbar area, as strong and flexible flexors allow the pelvis to maintain a neutral position, alleviating the chronic back pain that often plagues those who spend a lot of time sitting. Upper body strength and global posture must never be neglected, as the natural tendency for chest muscles to shorten and the back to weaken inevitably leads to a forward hunch, known as senile kyphosis. This compressed position is not just an aesthetic issue, it crushes the rib cage and significantly reduces total lung capacity, making every breath less efficient and depriving the body of the oxygen necessary for vital metabolic processes. By using a resistance band or even a simple towel to perform seated rows, you strengthen the rhomboids and the trapezius between the shoulder blades, which support the spine against the constant force of gravity. By pulling the elbows back and actively opening the chest, you not only improve blood oxygenation but also send a signal of safety and calm to the central nervous system, reducing the production of cortisol, the stress hormone. Proper posture shifts the center of gravity backward over the heels, making walking much safer and allowing for a wider, peripheral view of the environment, further reducing the risk of accidents from lateral obstacles. Additionally, a strong back prevents that painful fatigue that often appears after standing or sitting for long periods. The most critical, symbolic, and transformative movement remains the transition from a chair to a standing position without using your hands. The ability to stand up independently from a seat without external pushes is considered by modern geriatricians to be one of the best statistical indicators of future longevity and quality of life. This exercise requires perfect synchronization of legs, glutes, abdominals, and complex neural coordination. By pushing through the heels and contracting the glutes with extreme force once the standing position is reached, you generate a beneficial mechanical load on the hip and femur bones. This controlled stress induces bone cells, called osteoblasts, to deposit new calcium, actively countering osteoporosis exactly at the most critical points, where fractures occur that too often lead to a definitive loss of independence and long hospital stays. Repeating this gesture 10 or 15 times a day transforms a mundane daily action into a powerful preventive medicine for skeletal health. As you become stronger, you will notice you no longer need to swing your torso or lean on surrounding furniture, an unmistakable sign that your functional strength is returning to youthful levels of vitality. To maximize the effectiveness of all these physical efforts, nutrition plays a role that absolutely cannot be ignored, underestimated, or left to chance. As you age, the body paradoxically becomes less efficient at processing and using the protein consumed in your diet, a biochemical phenomenon called anabolic resistance. For this reason, it is necessary to ensure an adequate intake of high-quality protein, especially in the window of time following physical activity, to provide the body with the amino acids needed for the repair and growth of the stressed muscle fibers. The mind-muscle connection is equally crucial, focusing intensely on the feeling of the muscle contracting and lengthening while performing the movement drastically increases the recruitment of motor units through a process called neural irradiation, making the exercise much more effective for the same amount of time invested. You must visualize your muscles becoming denser, more resilient, and stronger with every single repetition. Physical strength is not an aesthetic luxury reserved for athletes or the young, it is the very biological foundation of personal freedom and human dignity. You don't need an expensive gym, technical clothing, or complicated equipment. 15 minutes 3 times a week, a solid chair, and an unshakable will to invest in your future are enough to radically change your aging trajectory, maintaining the vitality, energy, and joy of living for many years to come. If you truly want to take back control of your health and not let time pass you by, don't stop here. This is just the surface of a vast ocean of possibilities to transform your body into a shield of vitality and resilience. Subscribe now to our newsletter and exclusive community to receive free step-by-step video guides showing you the perfect form for every exercise, personalized training programs for every starting level, and cutting-edge scientific advice you won't find elsewhere. Join thousands of others who have already made the conscious choice to age with strength, pride, and total independence. Enter your email today to unlock immediate access to all our premium resources and make your longevity your top priority. Your future self will thank you every single day for this decision. Take the initiative now, because your strength is your destiny.